If someone had told me 20 years ago that I'd be standing before all of you in 2017 to celebrate the marriage of Daren and Sarah, I'd tell you you were crazy. One of my earliest memories is Daren and Sarah as a couple. Now, how many people can say at 2 years old that they remember their godfather being one of the happiest people that they knew, and that was all because of the woman who we all knew he was going to marry one day? My name is Jack Bartlett, and I am Daren's godson. He has been a huge part of my life for the past 20 years, and I have to thank Rock Avenue and Starbuck Hill for that. My dad and Daren grew up on the same road, but it was not this neighborly aspect that brought us together as godfather and godson. It was because of a little thing called the Chestertown Fire Department. Daren is about 5 years younger than my father, Ralph, but the fire department was a big aspect in both of their lives. They're both either past chief or active chief of the fire department, and this was really where the true relationship began. One of my earliest memories of Daren is at my second birthday party, and even then Sarah was present in our lives. This was the first time that I ever saw the kooky side of Daren. Daren was a little bit intoxicated, and for all of his family and relatives out there, I'm sorry to inform you that Daren was once intoxicated in his life. But he was in the living room, and he was trying to call Sarah to come and pick him up. And all I remember was seeing Daren trying to call Sarah using the TV remote. And I said to him, "Daren, are you trying to watch TV?" And he said, "No, I'm trying to call Sarah." And it took a little while for my 2.5 year old brain to inform Daren that he was using a TV remote. Now, I know this sounds a little bit absurd for a 2-year-old to be informing a grown man how to use a TV remote compared to a phone, but I guess that's just show you what alcohol will do to you. Daren has always represented commitment and love in his life. During the past 10 years when he wasn't with Sarah, a flame that we always thought had blown out far too quickly, Daren had made a lot of decisions for his life. Daren used to work on the road as a union welder, but came off the road when he fell in love with my best friend Tony's mom, Cookie. Now, living in a small town, everyone knew everyone. But Cookie and Daren quickly became the Daren and Sarah that we'd always hoped would end up together. Cookie and Daren quickly had a son of their own, Brody Dean, who was the apple of Daren's life. Brody still is the apple of Daren's life, but has grown up to be a 10-year-old, and I still can't believe that you have a 10-year-old, Daren. So having a son really calmed Daren down. The moments of intoxication dialing from the remote were no longer. Daren was finally a father, but he'd already had the practice of being a father. He'd been my godfather now for 10 years of my life. It's amazing to think that someone who had been an influence on me and helped my parents out in every aspect was going to be able to have his own son and raise him just the way that he'd helped raise me. Quickly, Cookie and Daren, 5 years later, were no longer. This is when Daren rekindled with Sarah. We were all happy to see Sarah come back into our lives because Sarah had always been around, but in the background. Daren had kind of received us in the divorce. Not that they were ever married, but the divorce as a analogy, not as a true divorce, because after 5 years, Daren and Sarah were finally back together. Daren and Sarah were together for another 5 years before calling it off again. Except this time the calling off only lasted 2 weeks, as all of us know. Daren and Sarah have been back together now for, I'd say, 3 years. 2 years ago, Daren and Sarah welcomed their first child, Shay, together. And this past fall of 2016, they welcomed Chloe. Now, it was an honor when Daren and Sarah asked me to be godfather to Shay and Chloe, because how often can someone say that I'm the godfather to my godfather's children? It's a pretty amazing feeling going on this eternal life's journey with Daren and Sarah and knowing all about everything they've been to and been through together, and to think that 20 years ago, Daren could have spent the last 20 years with a woman he loved. But I believe that everyone in their life's journey will always be able to find what is important to them. If it wasn't for Daren and Sarah 20 years ago, who knows where they'd be today? Daren may not have Brody. Daren may not have been through the life experiences that he's been through. So we need to thank every day for the experience that we're given. Everyone in life may be given one true love, but it is what we do with that one true love and how we find that true love that will influence the rest of our lives. So here's to Daren and Sarah on the day of their wedding. May you find eternal joy in the next 20 years of your lives. Because remember, love will always prosper. To Daren and Sarah, thank you and God bless.